The supervisor shoved a damaged box toward the new loader. "You broke it. You pay for it." The woman looked at the crushed corner. That pallet was already split. "Then prove it." Before he could dock her pay, Foreman Marcus Hale stepped between them. "She's been here 20 minutes. That damage happened before her shift." The supervisor walked away, muttering about paperwork. The woman thanked Marcus, then checked the shipping label. "This weight code is wrong. That crate should never be stacked above food products." Marcus studied her. Most first-day loaders barely understood the scanners. Why did this exhausted woman know federal shipping standards? Before we continue, ask yourself this. Would you defend someone when doing so could cost you your job? The warehouse sat outside Memphis, Tennessee. It moved groceries, medical supplies, and household goods across 6 states. At sunrise, the loading floor already shook with forklifts and shouted instructions. Marcus had worked there for 12 years. At 39, he knew every dock, every driver, and every shortcut management tried to hide. He also knew the company was getting worse. Injuries were rising, breaks were disappearing, damaged shipments were blamed on hourly workers. The new loader introduced herself as Tessa Monroe. She wore faded jeans, steel toe boots, and a gray work shirt. Her gloves looked new, but her hands did not. "You worked freight before?" Marcus asked. "A long time ago." "Where?" "Different places." "That sounds intentionally vague." "It probably is." Marcus almost smiled. Tessa had arrived carrying 1 duffel bag and a paper lunch sack. She said she needed temporary work while settling a family matter. What she did not say was that her full name was Tessa Monroe Caldwell. She was 34 and the chief executive of Caldwell Distribution Group. Her company owned the warehouse, along with 42 others across the South. For months, safety complaints had vanished before reaching her office. Regional reports showed record productivity and unusually low injury numbers. Tessa did not believe either claim. She entered the warehouse under her mother's maiden name. Only her attorney and security chief knew where she was. Her plan was simple: work 7 shifts, document the truth, and leave unnoticed. Then she met Marcus. During lunch, he gave his spare sandwich to an older forklift driver who had missed payroll. He did not ask for credit. He only told the man to eat. Tessa watched from across the break room. A moment later, every warehouse alarm suddenly went silent. Marcus looked toward the loading floor. "That's not maintenance," he said. Then Dock 9's overhead door began closing, while 3 workers were still beneath it. Marcus sprinted toward Dock 9 and slammed the emergency control. The steel door stopped inches above a worker's shoulders. 2 others dragged him clear before the motor tried to move again. Tessa rushed to the wall panel. "The safety sensor should have stopped it automatically." "It should have," Marcus said. "It didn't." The injured worker was Luis Grant, a 23-year-old father with a baby due in June. His shoulder was bruised, but he could still move his arm. Marcus told him to sit down. Supervisor Clay Benson arrived less than a minute later. He looked annoyed, not concerned. "Get that door running," Clay said. "We have 3 trucks waiting." "Luis almost got crushed," Marcus replied. "He didn't. That's your standard?" Clay looked at Tessa. "Why is the new hire touching the control panel?" "Because she noticed the sensor failed," Marcus said. Clay's expression sharpened. "She should focus on lifting boxes." Tessa removed the panel cover with a screwdriver from Marcus's tool belt. 1 wire had been cleanly cut. Another had been twisted around the alarm circuit. "This wasn't normal wear," she said. Marcus crouched beside her. "Someone disabled it." Clay folded his arms. "Or somebody damaged it during the panic." "The cut is old," Tessa said. "There's dust inside the copper." Clay stared at her for a moment. "You an electrician now?" "No. I pay attention." He ordered Marcus to reopen the dock and send everyone back to work. Marcus refused. "If that door moves before maintenance signs off, I'm shutting the whole floor down." "You don't have that authority." "I have enough authority to call state safety inspectors." Clay stepped closer. Be careful, Marcus. Foremen are replaceable. So are supervisors. The men held each other's stare until Clay walked away. Raymond Cole, the older forklift driver Marcus had helped at lunch, watched from nearby. He had worked at the warehouse for 26 years. That door has failed before, Raymond said quietly. Marcus turned. When? Twice last month. Why didn't you report it? I did. Raymond looked toward Clay's office. The reports disappeared. Tessa felt a familiar anger settle inside her. Someone was hiding safety failures, just as she had suspected. Marcus noticed her expression. You've seen this before. Something close. Where? Tessa hesitated. Before she could answer, Clay's assistant carried a red folder across the loading floor. A Caldwell executive seal was printed on the cover. Tessa recognized the file number. It belonged to her private safety audit, and it should never have been inside Clay Benson's office. Tessa watched Clay's assistant carry the red folder behind the glass office door. That file belongs to corporate safety, she said. Marcus looked at her. How would you know that? She kept her eyes on the office. I have seen the format before. That answer keeps getting less convincing. Tessa knew he was right. She also knew telling him everything would end her investigation. Before she could respond, Clay stepped onto the loading floor. Dock 9 is closed for maintenance, he announced. Everyone else returns to work. Marcus pointed toward Luis. He needs an incident report. Clay handed Luis a blank form. He can complete it after his shift. No, Marcus said. He completes it now. Luis looked between them. He needed the paycheck more than the argument. I'm okay, he said. I can finish the day. Marcus lowered his voice. Your baby needs you healthy. Sit down and document what happened. Luis finally nodded. Tessa noticed how Marcus spoke to him. There was no performance in it. He protected workers even when nobody important was watching. Clay returned to his office and locked the door. During the afternoon break, Raymond approached Marcus near the vending machines. I saw Clay burning reports last winter, he said. Not all of them, just the ones about injuries. Why are you telling me now? Marcus asked. Raymond looked ashamed. Because Luis could have been killed. I kept quiet too long. Tessa joined them. Did you see where the reports came from? Some had corporate stamps. Others came from regional management. Marcus looked toward the office. We need proof before Clay destroys anything else. Tessa considered the red folder. I can get inside, she said. Marcus frowned. How? Clay leaves at 6 for his weekly conference call. His assistant takes the key cabinet inventory downstairs. You have studied this place carefully. That is why I came here. Marcus held her gaze. You still have not told me who sent you. No one sent me. That is not the same as saying you came alone. Tessa did not answer. At 6:10, Clay left through the side exit. His assistant followed 5 minutes later. Marcus stayed near the loading floor while Tessa entered the office. She found the red folder beneath a stack of payroll sheets. Inside were photographs, injury reports, and emails marked confidential. One message carried Julian Caldwell's signature. He was Tessa's cousin and chief operations officer. The final page contained a handwritten instruction. Keep the CEO away from Memphis until the audit is closed. Behind her, the office door clicked shut. Clay stood there holding the key. Clay stood between Tessa and the office exit. You picked the wrong room, he said. Tessa kept the red folder against her side. You were hiding injury reports. I was protecting this warehouse. From what? From people who do not understand how this place survives. Marcus heard voices through the glass. He crossed the loading floor and tried the handle. Open the door, Clay. Clay ignored him. You think one bad sensor makes me a criminal? No, Tessa said. The missing reports do. His expression changed. You have no idea what corporate expects from us, Clay said. They want faster numbers every quarter. They punish delays, then act shocked when corners get cut. That does not excuse disabling safety systems. I never touched that door. But you buried the reports. Clay stepped closer. Give me the folder. Tessa did not move. Marcus hit the glass with his palm. Clay, open it now. For 1 second, Clay looked uncertain. Then he reached for the folder. Tessa pulled back. Do not touch me. The warning stopped him. Raymond appeared behind Marcus with 2 workers. Luis stood beside them, holding his completed incident report. You have witnesses now, Marcus said. Clay unlocked the door. Tessa walked out first. Marcus stayed between her and Clay. What did you find? He asked. She opened the folder on a work table. The reports showed repeated injuries, failed sensors, and altered inspection dates. Then Marcus saw the email signature. Julian Caldwell, he read. Is he the one behind this? Tessa hesitated. Clay gave a bitter laugh. She knows exactly who he is. Marcus looked at her. How? Before Tessa could answer, her phone rang. Only 2 people had that number, she answered. Her attorney, Dana Wells, spoke quickly. Tessa, your identity has been compromised. Julian knows you are in Memphis. Marcus heard the name. Tessa, he said. Dana continued. Security is on the way. Do not leave the warehouse alone. Tessa ended the call. Marcus stared at her. Why would corporate security come for a temporary loader? Clay leaned against the office door. Because she is not a temporary loader, he said. The loading floor went quiet. Clay looked at the workers, then back at Marcus. You have all been taking orders from Tessa Caldwell. Marcus's face hardened. The CEO? He asked. Tessa met his eyes. Yes. No one spoke for several seconds. Forklifts idled near the docks. Workers stared at Tessa as if she had become a stranger. Marcus looked at her faded shirt and worn gloves. You own this warehouse? My family owns the company, she said. I run it. You let us believe you needed this job. I needed access to the floor. That is not what I asked. Tessa felt the accusation before he finished speaking. I came because injury reports were disappearing, she said. I did not trust the numbers reaching my office. So you trusted nobody here with the truth. I trusted what I could observe. Marcus shook his head. You observed us like evidence. That was not my intention. Intentions do not change what happened. Raymond stood beside the work table. His disappointment was quieter than anger. You ate lunch with us, he said. You heard people worry about rent and medical bills. Tessa looked at him. I never judged anyone. No, Raymond replied. You just never told us who was listening. The words stayed with her. Clay crossed his arms. Now, everyone understands. She came here looking for someone to blame. Tessa turned toward him. No, I came because corporate leaders failed this warehouse. Clay gave her a sharp smile. Including you? Yes. The answer surprised him. Tessa placed the red folder on the table. These reports should have reached my office. They did not. But I built a system where people feared bad numbers more than unsafe conditions. Marcus watched her carefully. She continued. That failure belongs to Clay, regional management, my cousin, and me. 2 black SUVs pulled into the yard. Tessa's security chief entered with Dana Wells and a local police officer. Clay moved toward the folder. Marcus blocked him. You have been suspended, Dana said. Do not touch company records. Clay's confidence faded. Julian told me to control the numbers. You can explain that to investigators, Tessa replied. The officer escorted Clay from the floor. Several workers watched without celebrating. Tessa understood why. Removing one supervisor would not repair years of fear. She turned back to Marcus. I should have told you who I was. When? He asked. Before or after I defended you? Before. You knew I could lose my job for standing up to Clay. Yes, and you let me take that risk without knowing you controlled the company. Tessa lowered her voice. You are right. Marcus looked at the workers around them. We were not characters in your investigation. We were people. I know that now. No, you understand the words now. Knowing, it takes action. He removed his Foreman badge and placed it on the table. "I'm going home," he said. "Do not follow me." Tessa respected the boundary. She watched him leave, knowing the truth had exposed more than corruption. It had exposed the kind of leader she had become. Marcus did not return the next morning. Tessa arrived before sunrise and stood beside Dock 9. The damaged sensor had been removed. State inspectors were already reviewing the wiring. Workers entered in small groups. Most avoided her. Raymond stopped near the time clock. "Are you here as CEO now?" "Yes. That would have helped yesterday." "I know." Tessa called everyone together before the first shift. She did not stand on a platform. She stayed on the concrete floor with them. "I entered this warehouse under a false identity," she said. "I told myself secrecy was necessary for the investigation." Luis held his injured shoulder. "Was any of this a test?" "No. I was investigating management and missing reports. But I still involved all of you without your consent." She looked around the room. "I had power over your jobs while pretending I did not. That was wrong." A loader near the back raised her hand. "Are people getting fired because we talked to you?" "No. Retaliation is prohibited, and an outside firm will monitor it." "What about lost wages?" another worker asked. "Every suspended shift will be paid." Raymond shook his head. "Money fixes the paycheck. It does not fix trust." "You're right." Tessa announced that Clay and 3 regional managers were suspended. Julian Caldwell had been removed from daily operations while investigators reviewed his emails. She also admitted her own failure publicly. "I approved the performance system that rewarded speed over safety," she said. "I did not order anyone to hide injuries, but I created pressure without listening to the people carrying it." Nobody applauded. That was appropriate. Across town, Marcus sat at his kitchen table with his older sister, Denise. She worked as a public school counselor and rarely accepted his excuses. "You quit?" she asked. "I walked out." "That is not the same thing." She lied to everyone. "Yes." She knew I was risking my job. "Yes." Marcus frowned. "You're supposed to disagree eventually." Denise poured coffee. "I disagree with you hiding here instead of deciding what you actually want." His phone buzzed. Tessa had sent one message. "Your job is safe. Your badge is still active. I will not contact you again unless you ask me to." There was no apology attached. No request to meet. Marcus read it twice. Then he drove back to the warehouse. Tessa saw him enter, but she did not approach. Marcus placed his badge on the desk between them. "I'm not coming back for you," he said. "I understand. I'm coming back for the workers who trusted me. They need you." He looked at her carefully. "Do not make me regret this." Tessa nodded. "I won't ask you to trust me. I'll give you reasons to decide for yourself." Marcus picked up the badge. It was not forgiveness, but it was the first consequence she had learned to respect. Tessa spent the next 6 weeks rebuilding the warehouse's safety system. She hired an independent inspection firm. Every loading dock received new sensors, cameras, and emergency controls. Workers could report hazards without going through supervisors. The reports went directly to an outside review team. Tessa also removed the productivity bonus that had rewarded unsafe shortcuts. Several executives warned her that delivery times would suffer. "Then delivery times will suffer," she said. "People are not replaceable equipment." Julian denied ordering anyone to hide injuries. He claimed Clay had misunderstood pressure from regional management. The emails told a different story. Julian had approved altered safety numbers and delayed repairs. He had also blocked 3 workers from transferring after they filed complaints. Tessa presented the evidence to the board herself. "He is family," one director said. "Handle this quietly." "That is how we got here," Tessa replied. The board terminated Julian after a narrow vote. Tessa did not celebrate. Her aunt stopped speaking to her, and several relatives accused her of choosing strangers over family. Tessa accepted the anger. Family loyalty did not require protecting dangerous choices. At the Memphis warehouse, Marcus helped create an elected worker safety committee. He insisted that loaders, drivers, and maintenance workers each receive a seat. Tessa attended the first meeting but sat near the back. When Marcus asked for paid safety training, she approved it. When Raymond requested a slower loading schedule for medical shipments, she approved that too. She did not mention their past. She did not ask Marcus whether he had forgiven her. One afternoon, Luis brought his newborn daughter to the warehouse office. He introduced her to Raymond, Marcus, and several co-workers. Tessa watched from across the room. Marcus noticed her standing alone. For a moment, he considered inviting her closer. Then he remembered the false name, the hidden power, and the choices she had taken from everyone. He was not ready. Tessa seemed to understand. She smiled at the baby from a distance, then returned to work. That evening, Raymond found Marcus reviewing safety reports. "She is changing," Raymond said. Marcus closed the folder. "Maybe. You still don't trust her. Trust isn't a switch." Raymond nodded. "No, it's more like an old forklift." Marcus looked at him. "You fix it one part at a time," Raymond said. "Then you see if it holds under weight." Marcus glanced through the office window. Tessa was still there, reading worker complaints long after everyone else had gone home. For the first time, he wondered whether her changes might hold. In late April, state regulators scheduled a public hearing in Memphis. The investigation had found altered reports at 4 Caldwell warehouses. Former supervisors blamed pressure from corporate leadership. Several workers agreed to testify, but only if their jobs were protected. Tessa asked Dana to release every relevant email. Dana looked surprised. "Some of those messages make you look careless." "They should. The board will want them reviewed first." The workers were never given that protection. "We do not get it now." At the hearing, Marcus sat beside Raymond and Luis. Tessa sat across the room with company attorneys. A regulator asked whether workers had been discouraged from reporting injuries. Raymond leaned toward the microphone. "We were told delays would cost people their jobs." Luis described the broken dock sensor. His voice shook once, then steadied. Marcus spoke last. "The danger was not one bad supervisor," he said. "The whole system rewarded silence." Tessa did not interrupt. She did not ask her attorneys to challenge him. When her turn came, she confirmed his statement. "I approved performance targets without understanding how managers enforced them," she said. That failure began above the warehouse floor. One board member whispered urgently to Dana. Tessa continued anyway. She announced that Caldwell would waive confidentiality clauses tied to safety complaints. Workers could speak to investigators without company approval. The decision exposed Caldwell to lawsuits. It also protected people who had been afraid to tell the truth. After the hearing, reporters surrounded Tessa outside the courthouse. Marcus expected a polished defense. Instead, she repeated the same facts she had given under oath. No excuses. No blame shifted downward. Later, he found her sitting alone on a bench near the parking lot. Her security team waited several yards away. "You could lose the board vote next month," Marcus said. "Yes. Does that scare you?" "More than I want to admit." He appreciated the honesty. Tessa looked toward him. "I used to think leadership meant controlling the outcome. And now I think it means telling the truth before I know what it will cost." Marcus sat at the other end of the bench. He was not ready to trust her completely, but this time, he chose to stay. The board meeting began Monday morning. By noon, several directors wanted Tessa removed as CEO. They blamed delayed contracts, legal costs, and the company's falling value. One director called her disclosures an unnecessary public surrender. Tessa did not deny the damage. "We caused it," she said. "Hiding it would only make the damage last longer." The vote was set for 1 o'clock. At the Memphis warehouse, Marcus watched the live stream with Raymond, Luis, and the safety committee. Then an alarm sounded near Dock 4. A new loader had entered the wrong lane. The automatic system stopped a forklift before anyone was hurt. Raymond looked at Marcus. That system wasn't here 2 months ago. Marcus understood. Tessa's changes were already protecting workers. The board was deciding whether that protection cost too much. He asked to address the meeting remotely. Tessa had not requested his help. When Marcus appeared on the screen, several directors looked annoyed. "I'm not here to defend how Miss Caldwell entered our warehouse," he said. "She was wrong, and she admitted it." Tessa remained silent. "But removing her now sends another message. It tells workers that honesty matters only when it costs nothing." A director asked whether Marcus trusted her. "Not completely," he replied. "That is not what this vote should measure." He looked directly into the camera. "Measure what she does when telling the truth threatens her power." The final vote ended in a tie. The independent chair cast the deciding ballot. Tessa remained CEO. However, the Caldwell family lost its special voting privileges. Elected workers also gained permanent seats on the Safety Council. Tessa accepted every condition. Afterward, she called Marcus. "You didn't owe me that," she said. "I didn't do it for you." "I know." He paused. "But maybe we could have dinner. Somewhere public. No hidden names." Her answer was quiet. "I'd like that." It was not forgiveness. It was a choice she had finally allowed him to make. 2 weeks later, Marcus met Tessa at a family-owned barbecue place near the river. She arrived alone and wore no company badge. "Still Tessa Caldwell?" he asked. "Every part of her." They ordered ribs, cornbread, and sweet tea. For a while, they talked about ordinary things. Luis had returned to work. Raymond had been elected chair of the safety committee. Then Tessa set down her fork. "I need to say this clearly," she said. "I cared about you before you knew my name, but that did not give me the right to hide my power." Marcus nodded. "That is what hurt most. I know, and I'm not asking you to erase it." He studied her for a moment. "I still don't trust you the way I did before." "You shouldn't. But I trust what you've done since." Tessa let out a slow breath. "That matters more than you know." Marcus did not reach for her hand right away. He waited until she placed hers on the table, open and still. Then he covered it with his. "This is one dinner," he said. "One honest dinner," she replied. They left without promises about forever. They agreed to meet again the following week and keep telling the truth, even when it felt uncomfortable. Tessa had entered the warehouse to expose other people's failures. Marcus showed her that leadership also meant facing her own. Do you think she earned another chance? Share your thoughts, and stay with us for more heartfelt stories.